You have tuned into the BearDown Corner with your host, Sergeant Julio. Hey everybody, this is the BearDown Corner. I'm Sergeant Julio. Let's get you caught up with as much NFL as we can this week. All right, right off the hopper. Few signings to report from this last week. Former 49ers running back and Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. Signed with the Atlanta Falcons after being McCaffrey's backup last season. He is now heading to Atlanta to back up and take some of the workload off of Bijan Robinson after they lost their backup running back this offseason. So they replace him, basically. Joe Flacco re-signs with the Cincinnati Bengals on a backup contract worth up to $9 million in incentives, probably based on play time and whatever else. Zach Wilson, former first-round quarterback and multiple around the league of the Jets, Dolphins most recently. He played in Denver a little. He's going to the Saints for an opportunity to try and compete. Now, I think this is more a backup quarterback signing move rather than any kind of competition, because honestly, Tyler Shaw proved last year that, you know what, this is my team right now. You guys don't have anyone else. You drafted me in the second round, my team. So he put them on his shoulders and he led him to some wins. Some impressive wins nonetheless, too. Speaking of the 49ers, we got two stories coming out of the Bay Area. You got head coach Kyle Shanahan talking about Christian McCaffrey and how he wants to reduce his workload this upcoming season. So they got Isaac Guerrero and another late round pick that they've got at running back to help try and do that. Now, how much do you take away? Do you take away more passing game situations where McCaffrey excels at? Or do you do more ground and pound with the other running backs that throw McCaffrey in on, outside runs and passing plays? Like, he's your star running back. He is getting older. But if they can manage his workload a little bit better than the last few years, in his last two seasons when he's been healthy, this man has had over 400 plus touches. He needs a little bit of a rest as he's getting older with this. We all can't have a Marcus Allen to the age of 38 running like old tomorrow, all right? But also in 49er news, John Lynch has announced that his independent scientist has concluded that the electrical substation theory is complete hocus pocus. There's nothing determining that the electrical waves coming from that substation that travels the fans to the Santa Clara Stadium, it does not affect in any way. If anything, it's actually 400 times less to be safe. So whatever the unsafe number was, it's 400 times less than that. So this is complete, just got to be better at taking care of your guys, I guess. So his plan is now to invest more into the rehabilitation side and injury prevention, which honestly they should. They've had multiple starts of theirs injured in the last few years that has hindered them from being able to make an actual proper run. They went 12-5 last year with Mac Jones and a plethora of off-the-street wide receivers. Kevin Bourne. Dude, Kyle Shanahan needs to be praised on the fact that he can still lead a team like that. That is great if you are a franchise with a head coach and he can still muster that when your stars are down. The NFL is going to start training refs. Yes, you heard that. Training new refs as of May 1st, as the current collective bargaining with the referees is coming to a close on May 29th. They are being prepared in preparation in case the refs don't want to basically, hey, you know what, we're not going to play ball. They're asking for, I believe it's 10% of the market share revenues, whatever it is, where they're currently being offered 6.5 and an extra 250 million in promotional stuff. I don't know what the hell that would be for, what, to advertise, hey, you should come be an NFL referee. Whatever it is, I'm sure you can come to the agreement, but you're going from a 6.5 to a 10%? motherfucker, most of you guys have regular jobs. And you do this as a side gig. And you are demanding that you be paid this astronomical shit. Look, the players are already taking what they are. All right? You guys fucking with the zebra suits, okay? You make so many bad calls in the regular season, it ain't even fucking fun. If you made proper calls year in, year out, I can sit back after playing, be like, I didn't like it because it didn't benefit my team. But if it's legit, I got no problem with it. But when you leave, they're questionable don't. That's when people get pissed off. So before you go asking for more, maybe you should learn how to call your games properly and not screw everyone over. Anyway, that is the little rant for that. New York Giants head coach John Harbaugh said the door is open for a possible Odell Beckham Jr. reunion. The 32-year-old last was playing, he played and won the Super Bowl with the Rams. I don't even know where the hell he went after that. I think he went to Miami for half a season or something like that. Either way, the guy basically played and wrecked his fucking knee to the point that it was questionable if he would be back or not. He looked good in that flag football game shit. He looks like in his workouts he's been doing well for himself. Maybe a reunion is what's needed. Because when you have Malik Neighbors coming off of a season-ending injury last year, you lost your top pass catcher in Wan'Dale Robinson. He went to the Titans. You brought in Darnell Mooney. I don't even know where my goddamn notes are on this. Darnell Mooney, Isaiah Likely, and Calvin Austin from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Mooney was with the Falcons last couple seasons, and Likely came from the Ravens with Harbaugh. So you have a whole new cast around Jackson Dart, who, let's presumptively say that Cam Scatterbo is the starting running back in a two-headed monster with Tyrone Tracy, right? That's the idea. Imagine having an all-pro caliber talent who can probably, IQ-wise, smarter than hell. Ability-wise, let's see him take a few NFL hits. Then we can determine. But until then, if you put the possible scenario to have an Odell help groom these young guys, well, shit, you got to take a shot at it, don't you? I think they owe that to the New York Giants fans, at least get a little bit of, reunion going on at least. So we'll see what happens there. I'll keep you updated on that. You know what? That brought me a little bit of a joy, right? It's like full circle. You come back to New York, fresh start, whole new thing. Let's see what happens, right? Also out of New York, head coach Aaron Glenn of the New York Giants has made its statement that quarterback one will be none other than Geno Smith. The 35-year-old quarterback who last played for the Las Vegas Raiders last season got cut and out of town and was said, sayonara, boys, as he got shipped off to the New York Jets as they were done with that little fiasco. Honestly, full circle for Geno. He started his career in New York, had some up and down seasons, went out, became a backup, grinded his way back, got a chance in Seattle with Pete Carroll. Carroll went out back to Seattle. That's when the first-year head coach and Mike McDonald was like, hey, you're here. Let's give it a go. It wasn't the worst season, but wasn't the greatest. They knew they could do better, and they did this last season. So the decision to get rid of Geno has obviously paid off for Seahawk fans. The Pete Carroll and Geno Smith experiment in Raiderville was not successful. So now he gets a chance to rejuvenate, hopefully the end of his career with the Jets. Damar Hamlin, the man who had the heart attack on the field, he is back with the Bills on a one-year deal, a 6-year pro now. He comes and reunites with the team that was drafted by and gets to go play in Buffalo again. NBA legend George Gervin, the only reason I bring this son of a bitch up is he is denying the Iceman trademark to Caleb Williams. He has submitted his numbers and his trademarks for this as he portrayed that monster back in the late 70s during the NBA seasons. Look, you know what? Two separate sports. You can have an Iceman for both. Jesus Christ, Matty Ice was Matt Ryan's name in Atlanta for years, but yet they called him Ice because he was an Iceman. So fuck off with this shit. Quit trying to suck off of the youth and just let them play the game at this point. You're almost to your 80s age there, my man. Just take with what you got, be happy with life, and let this generation just bloom. Jesus Christ. Not even the same sport. And that's mine. It's because of financial gain for him. That's all it is. Anyway. Tom Brady reports of him possibly trying to make a comeback were true, but the NFL didn't like it, considering the NFL has rules against active players having actual financial and ownership stakes within that team. Because of this, and it doesn't matter what team he's in, because of this and his 5% that he owns of the Las Vegas Raiders, he is not allowed to re-enter the league. But honestly, Brady also said, hey, what do I got to prove? I'm happy in retirement. I'm just doing my thing. But wouldn't that be something to see Tom Brady make a comeback at 47 plus and just show that he is that much better than 75% of this goddamn league still? I'm sorry, but there's a quarterback conundrum in the NFL right now. There's too few of these guys who are not being taught the right way. They need to have a summer camp that these guys go to their first 3 years before that third year installment of their rookie contract, and they need to learn the X's and O's of this shit rather than drop back, take your first slot. If you don't like him, don't go to number 2. No, they need to know where everyone is at your quarterback. The reason they get paid the amount they do is because of their goddamn knowledge. You get a smart quarterback, that's worth paying for. Anyway, enough about that. Let's finish off. We got 2 more stories. Quick one for this. Buccaneers legendary linebacker Lavonte David has retired after 14 seasons. Good luck in retirement, sir, and you deserve all the best. And the final one of the day, Puka Nacua, star wide receiver of the Los Angeles Rams, is being sued by a woman who apparently is alleging that he made anti-Semitic comments and bit her on a New Year's Eve party. All right, let's get something straight here, honey. You're coming out in March to say that back at the beginning of the year he bit her friend's thumb later on when they were in a van intimately. Look here, you're being feisty freaks at your young 20s. Quit being a bunch of succubusses and trying to snag this guy for everything that he's worth. He might not have a lot on his rookie contract. He might sign a big long-term contract next. And he might be a little bit of an arrogant pompous ass as he lives out in LA and he's a star receiver for the Rams and he thinks he can do when he owns the world. That sometimes happens with these players because of the pedestal we put them on. But we can drop them right back to ground real goddamn quick. But here's the deal. He's been on live streams before. Apparently his gestures have been anti-Semitic. I haven't seen those videos yet, and honestly, I don't really care. I'm sure he's being told by his people around him, hey, even if you are, just fucking dude, you can't do that. You just can't. First off, we're all humans. Second off, we're all humans. So enough of this shit. Just leave that shit at home. Puka Nacua figures that out. He's fine. His career is going to blossom. But if he keeps getting incidences like this that turn into more legit, look, I'll clock it up as this. He was being a feisty little sex freak, and he said something while he was probably drunk or high. Who fucking knows? We've all been there. All right? We'll cut the guy slack here to this extent. But if this continues, I would be looking at LA and be like, let's put some contract language in his next contract. We need to cover our asses here because this could be the very beginning evolutions of another Antonio Brown if this kid ain't fucking careful. But anyway, that's all we got for today. This is the Bear Down Corner. I'm Sergeant Julio. Every Tuesday you can catch us at 6 o'clock General Mountain, 8 o'clock Eastern, anywhere you get your podcasts. And available also on YouTube. Be safe, take care, and we'll catch you next week here on the Bear Down Corner.